The FBI has released the transcript from a 2022 interview with Walt Nauta, the Trump aide who now faces several obstruction-related charges in this case. Nauta described the boxes of sensitive documents. CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez is joining us right now. Evan, this is all coming just ahead of another hearing today in this case. Update our viewers.
Well, Wolf, this is an important hearing for a couple of reasons. Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira, two of former President Trump's employees, they're still employed by him, and they're also his co-defendants. Their lawyers are in court today trying to get the judge, Aileen Cannon, to toss at least a couple of the charges that they face. The main part of this is the obstruction part of this case. What prosecutors allege is that both Nauta and de Oliveira helped move boxes that contain these classified documents and helped obstruct this investigation. And so the lawyers for these two men are saying, well, they didn't know that there was an investigation, so how could it be that they obstructed this case? I'll read you just a part of this FBI, this May 2022 FBI interview with Walt Nauta, in which they're asking him about these boxes and what he knew about it. Here, let's put up a part of this where Walt Nauta says, describing what's in these boxes, he says, a lot of his personal items carry the same. It's still in the same box. The FBI agent says, but now you're looking inside of these boxes. Nauta says, his personal items. And then they continue to talk a little bit about exactly what's in these boxes. FBI agent says, and when you say personal items, what are personal items? And Nauta responds, hairspray and shampoo. Of course, minimizing, according to prosecutors, minimizing what was actually contained in those boxes. What they say were in those boxes were hundreds of classified documents, some of them of the highest nature, highest sensitivity for the U.S. government. And one of the reasons why this interview was happening, Wolf, was because FBI agents wanted to know whether they needed to warn the intelligence community about perhaps possible dangers to operations. Wolf?
Yeah, some of those documents, SCI, sensitive compartmented information, doesn't get any higher in the classification level than that. Evan Perez, thank you very much.
It was a busy overnight in the Mar-a-Lago documents case because also we got the filings, the transcripts of the FBI interviews with Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira. And Nauta and his team are basically arguing to have the case against him dismissed because they say he didn't know he was moving classified documents. He had no knowledge of X, Y, and Z. Anything you see in those transcripts that raises your eyebrows, and do you think he's got a case here today?
Yeah, you can see from these transcripts, even just the cursory review, the FBI agents clearly weren't buying what Nauta was initially selling. They were very skeptical of his claims. They had they were very much looking at it as, you sound like your coach, not usually necessarily using those words, but sort of expressing that kind of skepticism. It sounded like he was coached. And certainly they came back to it later on, and where he admitted to moving certain things and that he had more knowledge than he had originally admitted to. And that played a key role in him getting hit in this indictment on the obstruction angle. Now, what he and de Oliveira are trying to do certainly was within their right to do. They're trying to argue they didn't have the requisite knowledge, the indictment is too vague, et cetera, et cetera. These are very standard pretrial motions from a defense attorney that you would expect to see. I don't anticipate it will be enough, even with Judge Cannon, to get it thrown out. But we're getting sort of a preview here of what their anticipated defense will be at trial if both Nauta and de Oliveira don't cut deals beforehand.
And that's a great point. Even if Judge Cannon doesn't throw it out, what you do see here and what we will see today is a preview, which makes it so interesting.